A lot of prominent Democrats in Davos. Al Gore was there, reportedly booed the Commerce Secretary, very vice presidential conduct. The governor of Kentucky, Mr. Bashir, is there. We may have time to look at him, but Gavin Newsom is there front and center, and there's a ton of stuff being reported and happening with Gavin Newsom. And I'm so interested because he's getting the kind of attention most Democrats wouldn't get. He went there. He was supposed to give a talk at the American Pavilion, and it was canceled. His team said it was canceled because the Trump administration wanted it canceled. He attended the president's speech, and he was seen grinning in the back while the president mocked him. Here's a bit of that. Number 4, please.
We're going to help the people in California. We want to have no crime. I know Gavin was here. I used to get along so great with Gavin when I was president. Gavin's a good guy. And we're gonna, if he needed it, I would do it in a heartbeat. I'd love
Good
to
work
see
by the
it.
CNN
We
camera
did help them a lot
person.
in Los Angeles, a lot.
Zoom in there. Zoom in. There
Early
he
in my
is.
term
Zoom
when they
right
had
in.
some problems.
All right, so there he is, kind of hanging out in the back. That's where I would watch a Trump event from the back. All right, so you see that. Here's number 7. Here's the headline from the San Francisco Chronicle. Newsom barred from public address in Switzerland by the Trump administration. The president the governor did an interview with CNN in which he kind of went after the president. And here's 2 things Gavin Newsom did today that goes to not Davos, but my theory that as the front runner and as the aggressive person here, he's going to take incoming. Okay, he's going to take incoming, and I'm not sure how he and his family are going to feel about that. Here's one. This is Newsom, a tweet from the account. Now, there have been times when his account has tweeted things where Gavin Newsom has said, "Well, that's not me, that's the staff," but it's his office account. Here it is, and the RNC's gone after it. They tweeted a picture of the head of the Border Patrol, right? Guys, am I right? It's the head of the Border Patrol. Yeah, Customs and Border Patrol head Greg Bovino. Yes. So it's a little hard to see for some of you, but they tweeted a picture of the guy who's the head of the Border Patrol in a jacket. It says Nazi coded. The RNC went after that. And I've received it. 3 different people sent that to me who are not super pro-Trump people who said, that's a little too much. Now, here's a video that doesn't have to do with Davos, but it does have to do with something. I'm telling you, Gavin Newsom has been captured on videotape way more than the governor of Kentucky, for instance. Look what was put together, and I'm just telling you, this is a sign of things to come. I can almost guarantee you. Here's Joe Rogan shared this TikTok video. Number 6, please.
One person ever in my office has ever used the word Latinx.
So can we finally put that to bed?
Yeah,
we agree.
but where did that even?
No more Latinx, everybody.
Well, I just didn't even know where it came from. I'm like, what are people talking about? Impactful this has been on the Latinx community. Politicians that are banning not assault rifles, but the word Latinx. Nothing I dislike more than the politician that sits there and lies to you. And we all just sit there rolling our eyes going, give me a break.
Now, I do not think Gavin Newsom is as phony as everyone who emails me and DMs me and tags me does, but he's on video a lot. And that example, to me, that's obviously devastating, but it plays right to the way people are going to run against him in the nomination if he runs and in the general election, that he is a phony. So, Matt, if you were inclined to help Gavin Newsom and he hired you and he paid you a Burisma level $50,000 a month, and he said, Matt, I'm worried about this. I'm worried about what's out there, and there could be a lot more of these, and I'm worried about how to handle them. Tell us your 1-page memo that gets the ball rolling to justify January's $50,000, and you're getting the $50,000 on the 21st, but it's covering the whole month. So for 9 days, the $50,000. How would you tell me he needs to deal with this?
Well, first, I think I have pretty strong feelings about Gavin. The last time I was on your show, I said a very bad word talking about my feelings about as a Californian. I would say stop being so phony. And a part of that is to get rid of the staff account that he occasionally has to walk back that's doing this prolonged bit, trying to sort of ape what President Trump does on Twitter. It was funny for a couple days, but 6 months later, when you still have to explain the joke to people, it's not that funny. As somebody who enjoys comedy, that's not really it. And so I do think his challenge is once a week he's trying to recycle a new personality. He'll say, I'm going to, be the straight talking Democrat who will tell my party what's what. And when he did Charlie Kirk, he tried to do some of that. But then he goes on Ben Shapiro and gets caught on his own feet because he can't say that men can't turn into women and things like that, which is what should have been the most predictable question out there. So if he's going to be a liberal, be a liberal. But don't try and sort of be everything to everybody, which I think is his biggest challenge right now and why people think he's so funny. He might be a front runner in polls, but I think that it only goes so far.
Just one clarification, and then Ashley, I'm going to frame the question differently to you. He was not on Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro was on his show. But
Sorry, that's right.
So often happens, Ben Shapiro hijacked the show. Ashley, you're working for Gavin Newsom, and I'm giving you $60,000 because you're a Democrat, so you deserve higher than a Burisma wage to help a Democrat. And somebody calls from Joe Rogan's office, a mole, and says, hey, Joe's about to repost this video. The governor may not remember, but he's now on record on video saying we would never say Latinx, and then he says Latinx 3 or 4 times. Now, he says he's going to be asked about it at his next public event. How would you prepare Gavin Newsom? What answer should he give if a reporter said, hey, let me show you this video on my iPhone? They show it to him. Governor, how do you respond to that video? Go.
I mean, you have to acknowledge what's on video. I mean, especially if it's not AI produced. I mean, I think you acknowledge it. I mean, the key is, can I just say this? Like, what is a liberal anymore today? I mean, we're going through this.
But I'm sorry to interrupt, but on that particular case, what words should come out of his mouth? They show the video, the whole press corps is watching. They show him the video and say, Governor, how do you explain your blanket denial that your office has ever used this word when you're on tape using it yourself? How do you explain that?
I mean, I think you admit you're wrong. And that's my point. I mean, I think you admit you're wrong. I think you admit you said it. You can't deny the video, but I think, and then you take a step back and you pivot, but the reality is, though, the reason why I say this is because at one point we were saying Latinx as liberals. Now we're not anymore. At one point we were defending trans issues. Now we're not anymore. I mean, with the definition of liberal and the Democratic Party right now is going through complete transformation in an identity crisis. And what Gavin's getting caught up in is that transformation and that identity crisis. And there's gonna be a lot that he's gonna have to walk back. But I think the reality is this, and this is what I would say the pivot is like, listen, we can either get mired in this petty back and forth about what I said or didn't say, or we can focus on what we should be focused on, which is the priorities of this nation. Why is it that, unemployment's going up? Why is it that the economy is in a recession? Why, and so you pivot to the issues that are top of mind for the American people. They could care less about this back and forth about Latinx or not. I mean, it's very trivial and it's very petty. And so that's what I would tell them to do. Admit that you said it, but then pivot to say, this means this matters very little in the minds of the American people. What they care most about is what their lived experience in this Trump economy, which is, which is crap.
You earned your $60,000 with great advice to my ear, but I will say people have been caught up as phonies on far less than that. Like,
but I guess my point is, like,
haircut on a tarmac.
It's not phony when we were actually using that word. I mean, when
I understand, but
by the Latin, by the Latino community. I mean, they sanctioned that word. I mean, at one point you couldn't say the word queer. Now you could say the word queer. I mean, it's all evolving.
I have sometimes someone has said to me, as someone who's not in public life in the same way, but who speaks in public, someone said to me, Mark, I can't believe you once said X. And I have said sometimes, I've never said that. There's no way I've ever said that. And then it turns out I did. But when I'm confronted with it, I know what I say. I forgot. Now that I said it, let me explain to you. I just think this does not play to his strength. To me, what this puts in sharp relief is I don't think he can execute on what you said because he doesn't like to think of himself as a liar. He doesn't like to think of himself as a phony. And I'm just telling you, this is going to be the frame. It's going to be used by every Democrat. It's going to be used by every Republican who runs against him if he's the nominee. And I just am skeptical because, and I'm going right into psychobabble here. I think on some level he does think he's a phony, but on another level he thinks it's an outrageous claim. And I've seen this psychology in candidates before. It is not a good recipe. We shall see. Our friends at Cozy Earth sponsor this program to make sure that you have an opportunity to start the new year off right and give your home the luxury it deserves and make home the best part of life. Go to cozyearth.com right now. Use the promo code 2way for 20% off everything on the site. Yes, everything on the site. I said everything. The bubble cuddle blanket, the Baja bedding set, the luxury bath towel set, impossibly soft and plush. These towels are crafted with a unique blend of cotton and viscose from bamboo. Can you imagine there's scientists in the world who know how to take viscose from bamboo and cotton and just jam them together like peanut butter and chocolate and a Reese's? It's kind of an incredible. There's some science there, I'm sure, that I don't know anything about. But the point is, it's all available to you now, 20% off. Use the promo code 2way on everything on the site. Refresh your routines with comfort that makes everyday life feel like a new year. Again, promo code 2way for 20% off.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the 2way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.
And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and 2way tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.